The movie begins on a somber night with the Dr. Malik conducting a psychological counseling session with his patient Malcolm. Malcolm sits in the dimly lit room, repeatedly reciting a cryptic poem he wrote as a child. The doctor pulls out Malcolm's profile, which contains a peculiar drawing of matchstick figures. The first 6 figures look almost identical, but the last 2 stand out. They represent Malcolm and his mother. Malcolm's past is tragic. His mother, a prostitute, abandoned him in a rundown motel when he was just 9 years old. His father was never in the picture, leaving Malcolm to grow up in an orphanage. His life took a darker turn, as revealed by a criminal report on the doctor's desk. Malcolm is accused of murdering 6 innocent people on May 10, 1998, his birthday. Despite the evidence, Malcolm has no memory of committing these crimes. The doctor diagnoses him with schizophrenia, but the diagnosis brings no reprieve. The doctor pleads with the judge to delay the execution, hoping to treat Malcolm's mental illness. However, the judge remains adamant. Justice must be served without delay. Meanwhile, on a stormy road, a car's tire is punctured by a high heel that had been carelessly dropped earlier by a prostitute. As a bespectacled man struggles to change the tire, a tragic accident unfolds. His wife is struck by an oncoming car, occupied by an actress and her driver. The driver tries to call for help, but there's no signal. He decides to leave the group at a nearby motel while he searches for assistance. The actress urges him not to go, but he insists. On his way, the driver encounters the prostitute who had dropped the high heel. Her car is broken down in the pouring rain, so they team up to search for help. Along the way, they meet a young couple. Initially, the couple refuses to give them a ride, but the husband changes his mind the moment he sees the prostitute. The driver, wary of the strangers, carries a pistol for protection. Together, the 4 make their way back to the motel and decide to wait until morning to continue their journey. The motel's innkeeper assigns them rooms. Room 9 for the actress, room 7 for the prostitute. The driver is assigned room 3 and the couple is given room 6. However, when the couple slams their door shut too hard, the number flips, turning their room into 9. Amid the storm, a police officer arrives at the motel, bringing along a detained criminal in the back of his car. The driver suggests using the radio in the police car to call for help, but the officer explains that the radio is useless due to the storm. During this time, the driver notices something odd about the son of the bespectacled man, who admits that the boy is his stepson and not close to him. Meanwhile, the actress tries to find a phone signal outside, but is suddenly attacked. Her scream pierces the night, drawing the driver to investigate. What he finds is horrifying, her severed head spinning inside a washing machine in the laundry room. The innkeeper and the police officer join him and discover a key to room 10 lying near the head. Room 10 belongs to the officer and his prisoner, so suspicion immediately falls on the criminal. When they check the room, they find the criminal has escaped. The driver and the police officer agree to search for him, while instructing the others to stay inside for safety. As the search begins, tensions flare within the young couple. The wife reveals that she faked her pregnancy to force her husband into marriage. Enraged, the husband accuses her of deception, leading to a heated argument. Distraught, the wife storms into the bathroom, but while she's inside, her husband is brutally killed. Discovering his death, the terrified wife jumps out of the window in a desperate bid to save herself. Meanwhile, the escaped criminal makes a chilling discovery. No matter which direction he runs, he always ends up back at the motel. Before long, the driver and the police officer catch him and return him to the innkeeper, instructing him to keep a close eye on the man. The driver then checks the crime scenes and takes the prostitute with him to inspect the bodies. During their search, he shares a personal revelation. He was once a police officer, but left the force after failing to save a suicidal girl. The trauma left him with lasting mental scars. They find the key to room 9 on one of the victims, and start piecing together a theory that the murders might be happening in reverse order of the room numbers, from 10 down to 6. Just as this grim realization dawns, they are horrified to discover that the criminal too has been killed. The suspense escalates when the fake innkeeper, who was supposed to be guarding the criminal, insists he didn't kill him because he had just returned to his office. Nearby, they discover the key to room 8 next to the criminal's body, solidifying the grim realization that a serial killer is targeting them in room number order. The group's suspicion turns toward the fake innkeeper when they discover he has stolen the actress's purse. Although he admits to the theft, he denies any involvement in her murder, claiming he only wanted her money. Feeling cornered, the innkeeper takes the prostitute hostage to escape suspicion, but during the chaos, the prostitute manages to knock him over. In the scuffle, she accidentally opens the motel refrigerator, revealing a gruesome surprise: a frozen corpse inside. The group is horrified as the fake innkeeper seizes the distraction to escape. He makes a desperate run and tries to harm the little boy, but the bespectacled man intervenes, saving his son but losing his own life in the process. Cornered again, the fake innkeeper finally confesses a chilling truth: the frozen body is the real innkeeper. When he arrived at the motel months earlier, he found the real innkeeper already dead. Seizing the opportunity, he assumed the man's identity to make money from the business. However, he insists he has no knowledge of the murders happening tonight. The revelation leaves everyone in shock and confusion. If the fake innkeeper is not the killer, then the real murderer is still among them, their identity and motives shrouded in mystery. Desperate for answers, the group decides to share their life stories to see if there's a connection that might explain the killer's intentions. The prostitute confesses her wariness with her current life and shares her dream of leaving everything behind to return to her hometown and start fresh. Before they can dig deeper, the police officer discovers another body, the wife from the young couple, lying dead with the key to room 6 next to her. The group pieces together the victims and their corresponding room keys. Room 10, the actress; room 9, the husband; room 8, the criminal; room 6, the wife. This leaves them wondering about the next victim, who corresponds to room 7. They initially rule out the bespectacled man, as they witnessed his death earlier. However, to their astonishment, they later discover the key to room 7 lying beside his body. This discovery shocks the group because they had all been together when the key appeared. None of them could have placed it there. The horrifying conclusion dawns on them: the murderer isn't one of them. The driver, sensing imminent danger, suggests they abandon the place immediately. He insists the young wife and the little boy leave first for their safety. However, as their car starts, it suddenly explodes in a violent blast. Strangely, when the group checks the wreckage, there are no bodies inside, and even more disturbingly, the other corpses in the motel have vanished without a trace. As they attempt to make sense of these occurrences, they uncover a chilling connection. All of them share the same birthday, May 10th, the same date as Malcolm's. This discovery is no coincidence. A further investigation of the IDs at the front desk reveals an eerie pattern. Each name contains a geographic reference. The group grows increasingly unsettled, unable to comprehend the implications. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a courtroom where the driver, now dressed identically to Malcolm, is being questioned by the doctor and the judge. They demand to know who he is and what he has done. The driver recounts the events at the motel, desperate to make sense of the chaos. The doctor then reveals a shocking truth. The driver is one of Malcolm's multiple personalities. Showing him a mirror, the driver is horrified to see Malcolm's face staring back at him. It becomes clear that the motel and its inhabitants are manifestations of Malcolm's fractured mind. The doctor explains that the experimental drug treatment allowed all of Malcolm's personalities to exist simultaneously in the motel, the place where his psyche was irreparably damaged as a child after being abandoned by his prostitute mother. Among these personalities is a dark and violent one responsible for the murders committed years ago. Now, Malcolm's good personality, the driver, must find a way to eradicate the evil one to save himself from execution. The driver returns to the motel, determined to confront the killer. Meanwhile, the prostitute discovers a terrifying truth. The police officer is not who he claims to be. He is actually the criminal, who had killed the real officer and assumed his identity. With his cover blown, the fake officer embarks on a killing spree, murdering the fake innkeeper and attempting to eliminate the prostitute. In a climactic showdown, the driver and the fake officer engage in a brutal gunfight. Both are gravely wounded and die from their injuries. As the driver's personality fades, the purge of Malcolm's criminal personas seems complete. In the real world, Malcolm's death sentence is delayed, and he is transferred to a mental hospital, seemingly cured, with only the prostitute personality remaining. In Malcolm's mind, the prostitute returns to her hometown, ready to live a peaceful life. However, her peace is short-lived. She discovers a key to room 1 under an orange tree, and behind her, the little boy, the true embodiment of Malcolm's murderous and psychotic personality, emerges. It is revealed that the boy had orchestrated everything, surviving the car explosion by hiding and systematically eliminating the other personalities. The boy murders the prostitute personality, leaving himself as the sole survivor within Malcolm's mind. The film ends on a chilling note as Malcolm, now a pure murderer, kills the doctor in cold blood. Please like, share, and subscribe this video.